Look who I have. Look who I have. Got my Garfield. I got a surprise for you guys. I know that cats aren't considered the cleanest when it comes to when you're cooking and stuff. But this is a cooking live stream. But I want you to see my precious baby. This is my Garfield. I'm going to set him down because I have a can of chicken chili and I'm going to doctor it up. And I figured maybe you guys would want to watch it, right? The first thing I'm going to do is wash my hands, of course. Garfield is down there. Now, I want to show you some of the things that I have. This is leftover rice from the rice steamer. I made that yesterday. This is chicken chili with beans in it, okay? This here is a can of pinot beans. Whoops. I got a really big strainer here. Now, what I'm about to do is drain these. I'm going to do it in the sink. And you know, when you don't have any fingernails, it's really not easy to open up the can. So. I'm gonna okay, I'm draining this. When it's mostly drained, I'm going to put it into a pot. Oh yeah, there's one other ingredient that I have in this pot I forgot to mention. Have you ever seen chicken breast that's cut up and put in pouches? Well, I had used over half of this in a soup and I left the rest of it in the fridge. But I took the liberty of putting this in this pot. So it's got the chicken and these beans that I just strained. I'm going to put into this pot. Now I'm going to rinse this. You suck. Hey, where I got it from, it says Kreider brand, and these have been distributed all over Atlantic City. I don't know if you can get them in a store or whether it's just USDA distributed to Indian tribes and Po folks and whatever, I don't know. There's a little bit of water I put in this to clean it out that I'm going to use to clean out what's in the chili. Oh, I mopped this floor a number of times because a cat likes to lay down here, and I'm trying to keep him on the cleanest surface possible. Now, I want you to know something. I don't normally get too elaborate when I'm just cooking for myself because there's something about it's just not as satisfying as cooking for other people, you know? Whether it's my mother or one of my homeless friends. And lately, there's been a lot of traffic in this house because the man that lived in the van, he's been back after being in a hospital for 8 days. And I actually put him up, not in the stairwell that leads right into this apartment, but the back stairwell in the other part of the building because it was raining past couple of days, and old people especially, I don't think should be outside. Okay. Now this has a nice amount of beans in it. I'm gonna rinse these off so I can put them into recycling. And I'm gonna put this on the fire on low so it doesn't stick, because one thing I hate is when I burn things in the pots and I gotta scrub them and soak them and scrub them, and one time it took me at least 2 weeks to clean a burn pan, so I really gotta try not to do that. And you know what's the hardest thing to keep from burning is Corningware. If you have any family members that love Corningware, that stuff you gotta keep it on a low flame because it burns things so easily. Plus if you drop it, it'll shatter because I think it's made of porcelain or something. Oh, you're making dinner. All right. Now, I read an article a couple years ago which really scared me that said you got to be real careful about reheating cooked rice because supposedly some people get a bacterial infection. I guess it might be like a form of food poisoning, which nobody wants, obviously. But I've never had any problem even letting rice stay on room temperature for a while. Probably shouldn't do it when it's the summertime or whatever. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fluff this, and then I'm going to put it back on the electric thing, and I'm going to heat this so that when I finally mix the two together, you're not putting hot chili over cold rice. Now, when I made this rice yesterday, I actually added a little bit of raw ground pork to it. I cooked that pork first by baking it in the toaster oven. But one thing with rice, it's really easy to add too much water to it when you're reheating it, and then you end up with a gummy, sticky mess. And I don't know about you, but I don't like when my rice is a gummy, sticky mess. So, matter of fact, when I cook it, I'm always careful not to add too much water to it. A lot of people, I think, screw up with rice when they put 2 parts water to 1 part rice. I don't use quite that much rice, even if I add a little bit of brown rice to the white rice. What I like to do is make it more like 1 3/4 parts water to 1 part rice. Now, you know, there's some rice that you actually should soak in water before cooking, and I believe that is the basmati rice that you do that with. I haven't gotten that kind of rice in a good number of years, actually before the pandemic, because the only source for the exotic rices around here, they sell halal meats and stuff. You can see where I'm getting here. I'm not going to subsidize halal anything, and I think we all know why. Because in order to get a halal designation on your food, money has to be donated to certain organizations, and some of those organizations actually include the Holy Land Foundation, and you might or might not know this, but they are a co-conspirator to Hamas, a terror organization. So I'm not going to throw any money past anybody that would like to kill me. Okay? So I'm going to rinse this lid off the rice cooker. Oh, I really hope I get a laptop computer soon, because one of the things I really hate about working with cell phones is it's really hard to mount them. Right now I have this taped, it has a holder, and it's taped to a metal mic stand. It's actually used to play music. But I'm going to plug this in and heat this up. Okay, I'm gonna find the stir big spoon for this. Oh, you know what I'm thawing out for a couple of days from now? See, I'm trying to use up, we have all kinds of food in the fridge and the freezer and stuff. And if in fact this building is condemned and we gotta be out, might as well use up the food, right? But this, in a couple of days, I'm gonna do something with this. You know, I hate using up the good food that I wanted to have with my mom, but she might not be back for like another month or something. If somebody does something that they lift her improperly, instead of using this special device that looks like a cross between a forklift and a stork, if they try to use their bare hands to lift her, what ends up happening is they pull her muscles in her arms and her legs. And that kind of sets her back a week from her physical therapy. So, but I don't want to give too much away because you're seeing me talk live now. There's a bunch of videos you haven't seen, which, like, the videos that I'm still posting is before I dyed my hair, and you can obviously tell that I redid my hair. So, oh, I wonder where Garfield went. Did you see he left? All right, baby. Where did you go? Oh, I see you. Okay, I found him. He's on the floor of my mother's bed. Or he's in her bedroom, in front of her bed. This is what I'm looking for. I hope the cell phone doesn't spontaneously turn off. It's still under warranty. It's not even 3 months old, and I'm looking for an authorized Motorola service center so I can turn this in. Turn down the fire. Now, I'm going to start adding some seasonings to this to pump up the flavor. You know what Emerald Lagasse says? Bam! Kick it up a notch. Well, I'm going to throw in some diced onions, dried. Even though I have some fresh stuff, a couple of days ago, somebody asked why these were in the stairwell in front of there. When it's cold out, we actually use a stairwell like an extra refrigerator because it's quite chilly there, so we keep some food there. Did you know if you have mice in your house, they're not going to eat your onions or your garlic? So this is one thing you can set out. The mice won't touch it. Okay, I kind of lied. You know what I'm going to use? Thank you. Oh. It's still not entirely undone from when I had the braids. If any of you guys saw the live stream October 29th where that nasty guy in Atlantic City thought I was a hooker, and when I told him that he insulted me and he owed me an apology, and then he took my computer and smashed it, I was in the process of taking my cornrow braids out that day. And as soon as that happened, I clipped all my hair up, and I kept it clipped up for months. So when I finally was ready to go on film, my hair would look big. So. And how I got the nice big curls, one day I deliberately got it wet. And I scrunched it up and I put it in those clips. And I kept it up until it totally got bone dry. And then that's how I got the curls. So. And I'm very, very, very happy with it. Okay, I'm breaking up these shoots of the onion. I'm throwing that in there. That'll give like a scallion kind of feel. Now, I'm going to be talking about some things other than food right now. There's a possibility I'm going to be taking Garfield to the vet. I have some footage I have not shown because there have been some people that have been giving me a hard time on here, accusing me of neglecting my cat and stuff. I don't neglect anybody I love, okay? Not everybody can afford thousands and thousands of dollars from veterinarians. I'm going to try to find a place to take him to, and I'm going to spend the very bare minimum to, if they test him and they find out he has diabetes, I've had a diabetic cat before. I know how to administer insulin shots. they're in the fat. You get some fat and you inject in the fat. It's not looking for a vein or anything like that. So anybody, you don't need any medical skills. You don't need experience using needles. I certainly don't. But it's easy to administer insulin. When I go in, wherever we go in, I'm going to tell them right away. I am not, euthanasia is not on the table. I'm not killing my cat. I don't kill cats. To me, that's murder. You know, my mom has aches and pains. Do I tell the doctors, okay, let's give her a shot, go bye-bye? No. We don't do it for parents. At least in the United States, we don't, to my knowledge. Okay, time to add something else to this. Okay. Ground cumin. And my diabetic cat, he was diagnosed with diabetes when he was 8. And he lived to be over 15. Okay. So, now, my mother had a cat that got diagnosed with diabetes. But she was diagnosed so late, she was dead within 2 months. And that was the little gray kitty. You know, this is all happening at such an inconvenient time. My mom, I was pretty sure she knew that I wasn't going to try to see her on days when it was supposed to be raining. Okay, especially if they predict thunderstorms. I don't deal with thunder and lightning. That's, I don't mind rain, I don't mind drizzle. I know how to protect my hair. But if they have a forecast of thunder and lightning, I will not go out in it. So those are days that I don't make myself available to do any errands. With the exception of what I'm going to do for the cat. Now, I actually went out several hours ago today and I did a little bit of filming. I went back to the bus terminal and I got a round trip one zone ticket, which will get me either to the veterinarian, or there is a neighborhood in Atlantic City that I've never actually been inside. It's called Venice Park. And there is a Humane Society type veterinary clinic or something there. One of those two places, I'm going to try to get Garfield in tomorrow. If they don't have any appointments, then it can't be Wednesday, but maybe I'll do it Thursday. So this week is going to be devoted to taking care of my cat. Okay. Now, my mother called me a couple hours ago, and she seemed a little annoyed that when I told her that I was getting ready to do this, and obviously can't really talk on the phone and pay attention to their medical stuff when you're doing a show, But I definitely took notes on what she told me because there was some screw-ups going around there, but I don't want to reveal that now because that'll ruin the video. And why would you watch a video about something that if you watch, depending on how much of my content you watch, if you already got the information, why would you sit through the same information? You'd probably be bored, so, and I don't want to do that to you. So, I'm going to let this simmer for a while. Let me see what else I can throw in here. Oh, I was going to throw in some of this. If you ever find this tomato sauce, I recommend it so much. It has big pieces of basil in it. Now, unfortunately, I can't use this particular thing because it's a science experiment. So I'm just going to put that in trash. I'm not going to open. Oh, I know what I can do. Hold on. I will get one. Burger Boy. Oh, thank you. Let's see. This, I really like to pour some of this into a glass of water and make a tomato juice. And you know what? I'm thirsty, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, this is a collector's item glass that I actually found on the floor of the Tropicana. And I'm all about my souvenirs, you know. Plus, a lot of beverages taste better in glass, I'm convinced. But you know what? I need to get a scissors. These also double as my mother's, is the hair cutting shears I use when I cut my mother's hair. Oh, if you see a moth flying around, it's from the pasta cabinet. It's, I think they go for pasta and products like that. So this, if you smell this, it smells just like basil. I'm not going to put much in this because I don't want to sweeten it up too much. I'm just taking like a nice big wooden, I guess this is equivalent of 2 tablespoons maybe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this in this water. And then I'm going to hit this with cold water. Okay, now I got to test for salt. I don't want to have this on the fire too long because I really don't want to burn things. I would like to soften up the beans some though. Okay, I'll find a source of salt of some kind. I suppose I can use this. All these things I got at the dollar store. I'm really glad that I got what I did over there before all this talks of tariffs and things, even though not everything you get from there is from China. You know, I'm glad that I got all that stuff I got from Temu and Wish. You know, because you're not going to be able to get those bargains, at least not from that site probably anymore. So, I hope you got to stock up when you could. Okay, take this off the fire. Big basil leaves in this. They're so wonderful. No. I haven't had, if you're thinking about alcohol, I haven't had alcohol in over 20 years. This is just tomato, basil, you know, tomato sauce. 1/4 of this and 3/4 water and some kind of seasoned salt. And it is basically kind of like a Virgin Mary. Oh, I know what I could add. Have you guys ever heard of this? It's dehydrated lemon. They have true lemon and they have true lime. All you have to do is use a tiny, tiny amount. You can put this in water and add a sweetener to it, and you get lemonade. Or you can add this anytime you would use lemon juice or lime juice. This has onions in it. And this has basil in it. And these are those boxes that protect things kind of the equivalent of how canned goods do. So they're shelf stable. Even though I refrigerated a bunch of them actually. Just because I didn't want the mice to chew through. Because if you have mice, and I do, they will bite through plastic and paper and foil. You know, they're not clean critters. They're adorable critters, but they're not clean. I want to check the rice cooker and see if the thing went off on it. Ah, yes. Oh, I did something stupid with that rice cooker. I never pressed the button down. Always, whenever you put the rice cooker on, don't do what I just did. Make sure to press it so it actually is on cook. Okay. Oh, and another thing, once the thing goes off, if you don't want your rice to get real soggy, go and take a paper towel, wipe off where the condensation is, and keep paper towel between the before you get to the glass, so that when the steam rises up, it gets on the paper towel and it doesn't make your rice soggy. I'm telling you, these rice cookers, they changed my life. I got turned on to them when I was living in Los Angeles. And I was staying with somebody who was married to a Korean lady. And if you love Asian food, if you cook a lot of rice, I'm telling you, it'll save your pans from burning things. You won't be worrying about, you get distracted and you leave the kitchen because you're doing something on the internet. And next thing you know, or you're watching TV, and then all of a sudden, something's burning because you got distracted, because you're on your screen, or you're getting involved with the tube. So these things that you press a button and they turn off. Also, I have this little toaster oven, which it's, well, I'll bring it to you. I'll show you. This has got to be the tiniest little area to reheat things that I've ever seen in my life. You know how usually you have a tray, which would be the whole length of this? But this is only the part that you have, like when I heat my fried chicken and stuff. It doesn't have a lot of room. I gotta find you the pan that you actually put the chicken in to heat it. I think it's in the other kitchen, the other sink. Hold that thought. This is what I mean. Look how small this pan is. So if you're putting chicken, this will hold a chicken breast, maybe a thigh and a wing or whatever. And of course, you can't get too close. Okay, the stove being nice and seasoned. Why don't you go ahead and call me a slob? I can take it, trust me. You know, not everybody can afford to be good housekeeping. You know, there's not enough hours in a day to deal with my mom, the cat, whatever. And the reason why I even mop the floors is because I don't want the cat plopping down on filth. You know, I'm hoping when I take him in to the veterinarian tomorrow, if it is tomorrow, I'm gonna think that maybe they can give him a bath, check his skin, give him an appetite stimulant. I have some friends in the rescue community that gave me some ideas for things to ask for. Something called uh, sub-Q liquid. I am definitely worried about him. At first, he seemed fine when some people expressed concern for how he looked. And a couple of days later, all of a sudden, he started acting like an old cat. And I know from personal experience it's not good when they go off their feed. That's, you know. But I also don't want to be in the predicament of the people across the street who had the dog, that they went and took the dog in for his annual checkup and they wanted to charge $6,000 in tests and things, and they ended up putting the dog to sleep because they didn't want to spend the money. And those are people that could have afforded it. You know, two-income house, owning a number of items of property and stuff. And I know that just because a person owns property doesn't mean they're making a lot of money, because you got to pay property taxes and all that stuff. But still, they could have afforded it. You know, I'm willing to delay getting the computer that I really, 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 really need to put something down toward this cat, but I'm going to let him know that I have an extremely low budget. I'm going to put this in my mom's room to dry, because that's where I dry it. Oh, I got. Okay, my baby. Did you see my baby? Oh, my baby, you're gonna get cat hair in my food. Yeah, you're gonna get cat hair in my food. Everything tastes better with cat hair in it, right? You're so pretty. I want you to know something. I love you. I love you so much. I don't want to lose you. And if the doctor tries to say you'd be better off dead, I'm going to say no. If it's not good, I'm going to bring him back and we're going to do hospice at home, okay? You know, the first place I was going to go, they have this humane society that's in Pleasantville. And this morning they said that they don't actually do veterinary things. It's like, what do they do? According to their website, they had all these services available. But now there is, Atlantic City's on an island called Absecon Island. And the next city south of us is called Ventnor. And there is a veterinarian that a friend of mine that I went to high school with uses for his cats. And that's where he says if the Humane Society, which would have been the cheapest option, and I really do have to do something that is halfway affordable. I mean, this isn't affordable. I'm not going to pretend that it is, but there are degrees of affordability. And I was hoping that maybe I could get a little bit of a price break since I took this cat in off the street. But it doesn't matter. I love him as much whether he was a street cat or whatever. A cat deserves love regardless of where he came from. But sometimes if you take in what were street cats, sometimes they give you a break. But one of the things they have to check on him is he has these scabs on him. That at first I thought they had something to do with the fleas, but that was over a year ago. Okay? But he drinks a lot of water. He urinates. He's not defecating because he isn't eating. Poor baby. My baby. Are you my baby? When I touch his fur, it becomes airborne. You know. My mother has been suggesting that I brush him a couple months ago, but I don't want to irritate him. I'm afraid if I brush him, it's going to rip the scabs off him. So I'm going to see if the veterinarian can't give him a bath. Something, soothe his skin. And have it nice and clean, right? And I'm going to bring in the Capstar package so that they know what was used to treat him with fleas. I unfortunately can't find the packaging for this collar, which had a non-toxic kind of flea treatment. I don't trust most of the flea killing things because some of them were recalled. I believe Hart's Mountain collars were recalled. Some cats actually were killed as a result of them. One time, some cats ago, we had a cat that we actually accidentally poisoned by using a flea powder and a flea collar. So you have to be very, very careful what you're putting on our cats, right? Right? I love you. You're so beautiful. You my beautiful baby. Let everybody see your pretty face. Baby. Mandalore the autistic. Hello. 1666. Ghost of Jamiroquai. I like the band Jamiroquai, by the way. Right? Yeah, you don't know. You don't listen to music. Oh, you don't listen to music. There's a baby. There's a baby. Oh, I've discovered an easier way to keep his litter box clean. You guys might think this is a little unorthodox, but especially now when he's urinating more. It used to be I could let a litter box go for a whole month in between changings, but when he started urinating a lot more, then the litter box would only last a week before it needed to be dumped and changed and all that. So what I've been doing, instead of using a litter, and having him turn it into soup, what I did was I washed soap and water and dried the litter box, right? Dumped all the crap out. Then, when it was bone dry, I put a couple of those toilet seat protectors on it. I figured if he urinates, I can just dump the pee out. If he defecates, I just lift the toilet seat protector out and either throw it out or, flush it. And people say you should flush it, but you know what? I do. Sue me. All the people doing all kinds of things, messing up our environment, and I think I'm more conscientious with the environment than most. Like, one of the things that is a big pet peeve of mine, since I live right on the coast, people will wash their cars, and they'll use soap that I'm sure is not biodegradable soap. And anything that goes out in the gutter goes straight to the ocean. Another thing that really gets on my nerves is CRETA, the organization that does the beautification of the facades, and they get money from the casinos, and they do things. They do a lot of good things, but they do some bad things too, like harassing the homeless people and stuff. But one of the things they do is they use Roundup. Monsanto, Roundup, glyphosate. It is a herbicide, and it also has connections with cancer and birth defects and all kinds of things that we don't want. Well, they spray that around what they deem to be weeds. And most of the things people think of as weeds are not even weeds. A lot of them are edible medicinal herbs that people have in their lawns. And of course, people are so quick to mow the flowers away, and meanwhile the bees have to eat something. Or you have the idiots like the people across the street that they're always making bonfire across the street, and they rake anything dry and dead that they find outside. And I'm sure they're killing a lot of animals, because you have beneficial insects and small mammals and things that will winter over in dead leaves and things. Can you imagine that being scooped up and put in a bonfire? It's pretty sick. And I tried telling them that they shouldn't do that, and they look at me like, you know, it's not my life and it's not my business. But if poor innocent things are going to be killed, I kind of feel it is my business. I want to put this away. See, he's down there. This is where I keep some of his whiskers and some of his hair. You know, there's going to be a time when I'm glad that I have it. I have a medicine jar that's full of Tabby Boy's hair and some whiskers and some claws, and I saved the whiskers of many of my cats. The thing is, when you have more than one cat at one time, it's hard to identify whose comes from whose. But when you only have one cat, or when a cat is pretty much hung out in one spot and you know that the whiskers and stuff are his, then you put the things together. And I guess that's no different than the fact that when I cut my mother's hair, I save her hair too. I save my hair. It's not uncommon for certain kinds of people to save their hair and stuff. And I have literally bags of my hair. Which, did you know that one use you can use for your own hair is you can ball it up and you can put it around forms and you can wrap your hair around it to create elaborate hairstyles using your own hair to fill out your hair. Like people have done that to make beehives and stuff as a way to add to their hair with their hair without having to use wigs and hair pieces and stuff. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the fridge. And the rice things went off. Ooh. See all that condensation? It's really important to wipe that off so it doesn't make the rice soggy. Oh, I'm going to have to get paper towels. Garfield, baby. Garfield. Oh, I'm getting so overused. But the rice is done. It just needed to be warmed up anyway. Now, all I have to do is spoon out some rice, put that on a plate, put some of this on top of it. But I'm going to adjust for the seasonings because I didn't make this particularly hot or anything. I didn't make a 5-alarm chili because that way if somebody shows up, rings the doorbell and they're hungry, if I make it too hot, then somebody that can't handle hot and spicy things, that'll be too much for them. But if I don't make it spicy, I can always add hot sauce to it. And then if somebody else shows up and they want something mild, then they could still eat. This is cayenne. Okay. Oh, I am definitely getting a little warm. And I'm going to taste this to see if it needs any salt. I might be posting 2 videos a day so that the footage involving my mom and where she's at and stuff can be more current. Especially if the content I created was short form stuff, which short form stuff is really not my favorite kind of content to make, honestly isn't. But shorts are convenient in that they can only be made using a cell phone, and having a cell phone now, I appreciate that. Also, if you have a problem where your phone is starting to overheat and shut down automatically and stuff, sometimes it's better to try to film something short. That way you could say everything you have to say before the thing shuts down. Because there are days when it would shut down repeated, like every 5 minutes it would heat up and it would shut off. And I expect my filming devices to be just like a light switch. You come in a room and it's dark, you need a light, you turn on the light, you expect the light to come on. When I am using a device to film a video, I expect that I turn on the thing, turn the camera on, say what I have to say, turn it off, and call it a day. That's why I like filming with a laptop computer so much, is because it's pretty much idiot proof. Plus, you can open them things up and you can set them down on any surface. It is so hard to mount a cell phone unless you have a holder on it. And like now, I have this mic stand here. But when I'm out in public, I can't tell you how many times this thing has fallen down. I can't have it mounted so that I could do my turnaround like I prefer to do my format. I really miss the ease of creating content with a laptop computer, even though I know the cameras don't tend to be as good as the cameras in a cell phone. Now, if somebody would only make a laptop with the specifications that I want, which is a terabyte of storage and 16 gigabytes of RAM, the keyboard does not need to be backlit, but I really like them because that way in low light conditions you could see your typing. But if they can put a camera that's as good as a cell phone camera in with a laptop and not charge me something I can't afford, that is what I want. Okay, yeah, that's true too. Even though I noticed that the volume was coming in and out on this cell phone, and people were complaining about it, and it was like people were complaining about the audio on the laptops also. And I found out with these cell phones, the more you drop them, the more it messes up the sound too. Like, oh duh, right? But I wonder if I could use the wireless lavalier mics with these like you can with the computer. There's something else that I wanted to do. Yeah, that I wanted to do with the making my content is yeah, I really like the Bluetooth wireless things. I was going to get a wireless lavalier, but the ones with the wires on them were a lot cheaper than the Bluetooth things. And I keep on thinking about Wish and Temu and all the gargons that I'm glad I got, because I think that we're not going to see them anymore with the tariffs and things. And hey, we should be buying from our own countries anyway to avoid paying the extra fees. I mean, I agree with my president on there. I understand why he did what he did. Things have to be made so that the trade is fair. And there's certainly nothing wrong with loving your country and wanting what's best for it. I think the leader of any country would want to put his or her country first. So, I see nothing wrong with Trump doing that. Mm. Oh, I threw some of this in there too. I cook with a lot of turmeric. They say if you use turmeric, you should add black pepper also because they increase the bioavailability of each other. Turmeric has a lot of health benefits. I started actually getting into it when my father was sick. I added that to as many of his meals as possible. I like to cook Southeast Asian cuisine, Indian foods. Um, if you've ever been to a Hare Krishna temple, I love a lot of the food they make there. Even though I'm not vegan or vegetarian, I'm sorry that meat tastes so good. I know where it comes from, but I'm not gonna use any kind of guilt to stop eating what I enjoy. Okay. In about an hour, I'm going to put this in the fridge because I know it really isn't best to thaw things out room temperature, but you know what? It's convenient for me, so I do it. And I haven't died yet, so. Garfield, where did you go? Where did he go? Oh, I think he's in my mother's room. Yes, he is. Oh, boy. I don't know how hot it is where you are. Maybe it's just because I'm in the kitchen. Okay, I'm going to put this in the sink here. Got a bunch of recycling to put out too. I can't put it next door because they locked the gate. Oops. Oh, I see what fell down. This is the recycling. Okay. Oh, I'm pleased to report that when we were having the rains, we didn't have any more ceiling cave-ins, so. Because, even though by law they're supposed to start repairs on it, they flat out refuse to do anything like that while this place is still occupied. So all I could do is keep packing my things, put them in plastic, and then put them in a container and put them in some place in the house that doesn't have a leak. So now I'm in the market to try to find some more big pieces of luggage on wheels so that I can pack my things in them. I want you to see the big piece I have. Is this big or what? I'm telling you, this weighs more than 200 pounds. This has some of my YouTube set decorations in it. This has old calendars. This has YouTube planning notebooks. Some of the art that I had on my walls, the Pledge of Allegiance thing. Some of the Trump arts on there. Some very valuable things like old calendars to me are like gold because a lot of times, especially if you have details every day, different things that are in there, if you have gotten kind of lazy with your journaling, you can use them to reconstitute your life and go back and refresh your memory and see what you did when, whatever. And anyway, I found a bunch of old calendars. I have them in this, my hard drives and flash drives from many old computers. They're in here. I have a life preserver that from the Atlantic City Beach Patrol, the red round things, and a rope attached to it. That's in there. So, but I need some more big luggage on wheels because I have a whole lot of things packed that need to be put in something. I really love to take the biggest Ziploc bags I can and roll up clothes real neatly and squeeze the air out and put them in those Ziploc bags. And so it's clear, it's see-through, you can see what they are, right? And then put things according to the type of clothing it is or maybe the color it is, and then put them in containers. I have a garment bag all full of purple clothes, for instance. So by having things in certain categories, I have things organized and I could grab things. I have, do I have that old Nintendo calendar from 1991? If I had any calendars, well, first of all, they probably wouldn't show video games on them, even though I had a soft spot in my heart for Pac-Man, and pinball. I have calendars from Alley Cat Allies. I have calendars with cats on them. I have calendars featuring Americana art from like the VFW and disabled American veterans. Our household were very big on veterans organizations and charities. My father was a vet. Alley Cat Allies, because I'm a supporter of theirs, I get a calendar from them. It's usually a 2-year calendar, but I especially like those really big planning calendars, which they really help when you're a content creator because each day has like this much room. So say I filmed 5 videos and I did a bunch of things, then I can, write down the things that are important. And I also like using different colored inks, and you can color code things, and you can get really creative in the space on top that you can plan ideas for like big goals for the month, plan things out for the week. No, I'm not averse to them. And as far as hunks goes, I have a couple of the Peter Steele nudes that I need to find a category to store them in because it's not like I have a whole lot of those pictures. Matter of fact, I remember the circumstances behind how I even got them printed out because you can't just go to your local library and have them print out something like that. But I was in Los Angeles and I found my way to get what I wanted printed out. Okay. There are places, I don't know if they still exist. There's a place called Kinko's where you could get copies made 24 hours. Anybody who, like rock bands, had their flyers made there. I used to make custom Christmas cards they had all these different colored cardboard paper and construction paper and stuff, and I would use that as stationery. And I made Christmas cards one year using my art that I printed using the colored paper, the red and the green, and the envelopes to match. Favorite old-time celebrity? Well, I don't know, define old time, because when I think old time, I think of people way before my time, and actually there was I think a lot of the movies were better then. But I think one of the most beautiful women on the face of this earth had to be Elizabeth Taylor. I think she is an absolute doll. FedEx stores. Well, I know they have Mailboxes USA and UPS stores. As a matter of fact, I found a UPS store literally a block from the nursing home that my mother's getting her physical therapy in. And the UPS store is how I shipped things home, things to here from my storage in Los Angeles. I know that I had to it was hard for me to carry the boxes in my arms, and I actually found a shopping cart, and I actually pushed the shopping cart to the mailboxes, the UPS store, and it was the first time I ever pushed a shopping cart down the street. It was really hard for me to do because I associate shopping carts with homeless people, and for all the times I hung out with my homeless friends and the times when I was homeless, you'd never see me pushing a shopping cart or do the things that would make a person give them away as being a street person. But when it's summery hot and you're huffing and puffing and you're afraid there's a chance you might have a stroke or something, you're thinking, is it worth dying just so that I don't look too poor? If I'm going to safeguard my health by taking use of this shopping cart that just happens to be on the street, even at the risk of people driving in traffic seeing me thinking, she's pushing a shopping cart. But you know what? It might have saved me from getting a hernia. Oh, the rice is yellow because I cooked turmeric in it. Oh, I got a bunch of stuffed animals I'm going to have to wash. You want to know why? Because of the mice. I used to be an Avon lady. I still have a few of the cardboard boxes that we would get our merchandise in. Well, cardboard box has stuffed animals, and these have sentimental value to me. There's a guy that was a carny. I guess he was wormed in my form, and he gave me Puss in Boots, and of course, I love cats, so I have this. And I love bats, so I have this. But they were in this cardboard box, and there was evidence that the mice were there, because mice leave their calling card. It looks like black rice, but it's not. So I'm going to have to wash these because I don't want the germs associated with. Yeah. Look at that sweet face. This koala, I had a friend who lived in Australia, and we met on the internet. Oh, okay. Now, I guess that can't really affect my cat because he's not going to be getting close to it anyway. I'm really nervous about him. I'm absolutely nervous about him. Even if I only manage to buy him a couple more months or whatever, I have to preserve his life. You know what? I'm going to put this in the fridge now because I don't want any problems. Okay, I'm going to put these back. Got a little bit more coffee. Maybe I'll leave this for somebody if somebody rings my doorbell and is hungry or something. I gotta check my sugar situation. If I don't have enough sweetener or sugar to sweeten a cup of coffee, I'm not gonna have any more coffee. If I can't sweeten it, I'm not gonna drink it. Okay, this should be okay for the time being. got my hands on some sweet potatoes. Maybe I'll cook these tomorrow. This is really healthy. Oh my goodness, Tiger! Hi! I certainly will. I certainly will. I will, the next time I see her, oh, I'm thinking might be Wednesday, Thursday, unless of course that's the day I take the cat to the vet. Or it might be Friday. Any day that I think it's going to be raining, I'm not going to chance going there, because even if it's okay to get there, I don't want to be caught in the rain waiting for the bus on the side of the road coming back. Is this Garfield? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, my baby. My baby. My baby. Say hello. My baby. My baby. Oh, I love my baby. My baby. Do you love me? Do you love me? Sure you do. You love me. You love me, baby, baby, baby cat. Oh, baby, baby cat. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put you back where you were, because I just found a tack on the floor. I don't want you hurting yourself. Oh, you guys, I'm getting overheated here. Whew. Now, okay, I want you to see, this is the mic stand. This was on. Now I'm going to take the mic stand out and I'm going to put it back in my room. Because, oh, there's Garfield. There he is, my baby. Oh, I got my baby. Okay. I'm going to try not to take this off while I put this on the mount here. And I have a special bungee cord that I attach this to this pole lamp. And this is how I keep this from falling over since the floors are warped. Okay. Oh, I'm getting overheated. I'm going to put my fan on. So, that's how I made some chili. Now, I think I'm going to end this because I'm getting kind of overheated and I got to cool off some. Maybe I'll go back on in a couple hours, okay? So you guys, Have a good rest of your evening. I'm gonna finish eating dinner and maybe have another glass of water or something. But I'm really sweating. And I will let you guys know what's up with the cat. Okay? And I might, like I said, I might do another stream tonight, and I will try to do a stream tomorrow. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow or something, okay? Bye.